Hello, Cancer. I hope you're doing amazingly. It is time for your June reading for the month 2021. And I hope it's going to be a fabulous one. I'm going to do the double deck thing again because I'm into it. I love the fact that you can get double cards this way. If something really wants to come out, you can get it twice. So sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But I will do the double deck thing anyway, just because I find it really fun. Now, I'm going to have an extended reading this week. I'm going to do something for you extra with the Druidcraft Tarot deck, which I love. It's really cool looking. It's big. I like the bigger decks. And I have a double deck of those also. And their meanings are really extended. Like for the cards that are just regular cards, they still have a lot of additional stuff. So when I do the reading, I'm just going to read it right out of the book for you so I don't miss anything. I don't know if they're all accurate. I have not amalgamated any of those additional concepts into my readings ever. I do go by the standard stuff with a little of my own thrown in, and none of this is actually contrary to that. It just has some more stuff added in that's very, very specific. So I think it will be a lot of fun and something new for you and for me too. So you guys can let me know if you like it or don't like it. If you happen to click on the extendeds and check them out, you've got the option if you want to, if you don't want to. But here we go. I'm just going to pull 12 cards here and see where we get. This guy keeps coming up for almost everybody lately. Ooh, lots of pentacles. I think this was in the same position in the Gemini reading. Ooh, I haven't seen my little page of pentacles lately. Lots of pentacles. Woo! So let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pentacles out of 12. That's a lot. Excellent. Okay. So, my darling Cancer, let's see. Do we have any cups cards? Nope, nothing really representative of probably you personally as a court card or anything. We've got the Queen of Swords reversed here. Now, that can mean a ton of things, and there's nothing negative around it. So, I'm going to say that either you are not cutting through to the truth of a matter. Maybe you're allowing somebody to give you their BS. Maybe you're just sort of, humoring them by allowing them to tell you a bunch of crap that isn't true. Or, hopefully you're not believing it. But there's something going on where there is somebody's presenting something that isn't exactly accurate or true, and the Queen of Swords is so good at being practical and cutting through the BS that I'm going to say it's something contrary to that idea. Somebody is kind of BSing you. Maybe there's somebody in the picture who you're not too sure of, who you think maybe is not being perfectly genuine, and I'm going to say that's probably the case here. So let me know if that is so. So this is not a bad reading at all. This is actually quite a nice reading, quite a very nice reading, as a matter of fact. There's some really solid stuff here and all these pentacles. So let's unpack the happy little situation. We'll start with the Devil. The Devil is probably the most negative card you've got here, which isn't terrible. Sometimes the Devil just sort of marches in, kind of like Temperance, to remind us that we're doing something a little bit naughty, too much indulging, too much drinking of wine, smoking of pot, smoking of cigarettes, smoking of, what do you call those things, vapes. I don't really understand vapes. I used to smoke cigarettes and I absolutely loved it, but I don't understand the smell of vapes. To me, they just smell like perfume and flowers and candy, and it's not really my personal bag. But drugs, too much shopping, too much obsessing about things. Sometimes it can mean obsessing about people, like, oh, I love this guy, I love that guy, I love every guy. That gets ugly at times. Hoarding, anything that isn't good for you. Really, that's what it comes down to. Anything you're chained to, anything that's not good for you. Now, it can mean a little or a lot. So maybe it's just a little warning saying, okay, quit drinking so much wine. You don't have to have a bottle of wine every day. Let's like tone that down a little. It can mean that to you're a full blown alcoholic. You shouldn't be drinking. This is getting to be a real problem. That kind of thing. When every day you've got a hangover, this ain't good. So whatever it is, but don't forget, it can be substance abusey things, but it can be anything that's not good for you. It can be the obsessing, the tormenting yourself over things. Sometimes it's not having a nice internal dialogue, beating yourself up with, oh, I hate myself, that kind of crap. You don't need that, so don't be doing any of that. So keep it light, keep it fun, keep it simple. Everything's going to work out. This card, the Wheel of Fortune, this can mean something is fated, F-A-T-E-D, fated, like fate will come in and do something. But as you can see, it's surrounded by lovely cards. Nothing is bad. Everything's good. It's going to mean luck. I say it will mean good luck for you this month. So you can hold me to that. And I'd love to hear about what good luck comes your way. It can mean a good person is coming into your world. It can mean something is going to happen monetarily. You've got a lot of pentacles here. So maybe it's something good with health or wealth. So let's kind of peek at the people we've got to deal with. Okay, we've already dealt with the old Queen of Swords here. So we've also got the Page of Pentacles, one of my favorite cards. I always associate this card with one of my daughters. She does not associate the card with herself, but when I see this card, I see her. Page of Pentacles, usually a young person, a child or teenager, possibly even a young adult, or just a youthful spirit. Somebody who's very inventive, creative. They can take something apart and put it back together. They tend to be very, very mechanical. An earth sign, Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus. They have all kinds of amazing, loving, inventive qualities. They are very busy and always coming up with something new. Very alive. And learning how to invest, learning how to create the future. They tend to be very body-oriented people. Sometimes they're even so body-oriented they can be hypochondriacs. But if they are not hypochondriacs, they're still interested in health and wellness and the body and how things work, whether it be mechanical or physical. They like, doing natural things quite often. They like to do things that improve the immune system, and they like to know how things tick, and they like to know about money and how it works in society and what they can do to create more of it. They are very, very bright and interesting and active-minded people. So maybe you know somebody like this. Maybe you have a child who's like this, or, whoever it is, somebody like this in your life. And if it isn't that, then the concept can march in to help us learn to make positive investments in the future. You've got lots of pentacles here. You've got this fellow, the Four of Pentacles, who he's often read as a very negative card. I don't see it that way. A lot of people, when they read this card, they talk about it being stinginess, because he's got these pentacles he's hanging on to for dear life, coins, perhaps, money. And, he's even got one under each foot. So it's considered to be like selfishness and miserliness and stuff. And I'm not saying that's impossible. Those things can happen. But that doesn't, if you had the devil, I guess the devil can mean miserliness and hoarding of money in addition to other things. But generally speaking, it just means you're hanging on really tightly to something. It doesn't necessarily have to be bad. I find that I get this card because I'm hanging on to my kids. I don't want to lose them. I don't want to lose them in my life. Like, this is something that's really important to me. And a friend of mine who's kind of the same, she gets the card, and I would say it's for the same reason. But sometimes it's you want to invest in something, so you're not spending freely. You can't just say you're saving up to buy a house or something, and you're trying to keep your credit cards clear, and you're trying to not rack up anything or spend any unnecessary money. Sometimes you actually are kind of hoarding what you've got to create something different. So it can also be a card of an actual hoarder. So if you are a hoarder and you kind of know this and you get these two cards, you will be able to put two and two together and say, okay, now it's telling me to maybe figure something out there because this is not phenomenal. Okay, so, but we've got all these other wonderful pentacles. This one is, I think I've had this in every reading today so far, interestingly enough. And I had it double in one of them. This card is all about working. You're working hard. You're saving for a goal. You're trying to get to where you need to be. It's not an easy card. It's an active card, which is good. You're persevering. You're doing your thing. But, you know, sometimes when we're working away, it's not the most pleasant task. We're doing it because we have to, but try to allow yourself to enjoy the process because that is part of what makes life go better and more easy. So, you know, it's a good card though. You're working toward the future. You're trying to make stuff happen. And it looks like you're going to achieve these things. You've got this card, which is a card where you're going to be in a financial position to be charitable to others, to, you know, have enough money to make things happen. This is a great card. And then you've got this card, which is the Ten of Pentacles, also very, very good when it comes to having not only money, although there's plenty of that, it looks like, enough to sustain you surely, but it can also be a card of longevity and having all your family around you and having all the things around you that you need to have a happy life. This card is kind of complicated. It can mean a lot of things. It can mean an inheritance. It can mean that somebody in a family is kind of being overlooked because so much is going on that this person just isn't really being noticed. Doesn't necessarily even have to be super negative. It can just mean maybe there's an older person who maybe needs a little bit more attention in the crowd or excuse me, something of that nature. But generally speaking, it's a very, very positive card. So did we cover all the pentacles here? Excuse me. Yes, we did. Hierophant. The Hierophant is all about society. And so sometimes it means a marriage. But it could also mean a confirmation or a communion or something like that. Or it could mean a retirement. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I'm allergic to like everything. And then when you add, I've got the window open because the air is super nice today, which is probably not wise. But then when you add candles and everything else into the mix and just pollen everywhere. And here where I live, we've got cottonwood. So there's this little fluff flying everywhere, just like out of Dr. Seuss. And you know, it just makes me hack all day. So I do apologize for it, but I will not start over because then I would never get anything accomplished in life. So the Hierophant means some kind of a stepping stone in life. It's societal. It's kind of like accepted societal stuff. So it could be in a marriage or something of that nature. But it doesn't have to be. It could be whatever your own new wave form of marriage is, you know, whatever you consider a stepping stone in your life. I'm going to save this card for last because I love it. And then you've got Justice. Now, if you have any kind of a court or legal matter going on, which it seems like everybody does these days, this can often mean a positive outcome. So do whatever you have to do to support that, but usually this is a very, very good sign. The other thing is if you feel like you're owed something, like an apology or you know, some kind of a return on something that you didn't get. Sometimes there'll be a lovely surprise, something spun out of fate that maybe you weren't even expecting that you will get, and you will feel like you've received justice in the world, which is a wonderful feeling. Often we feel like we've been cheated out of something or overlooked or whatever, and so when we get some justice, it's very, very good. Then we have the beautiful, beautiful Empress, and this card is so, so, so important. When we're trying to accomplish pretty much anything. Now, first of all, if maybe you're getting married and you want to have children, this is a beautiful card. It's a card of fertility, a card of birthing things onto the earth. So if what you want to give birth to is people, this is a very positive card. It's a card about being one with nature and fertility, but it can be fertility of other things too. It can be fertility of ideas, of spiritual growth, of you know, giving birth to a company that you've been dreaming of. Anything that you see in your mind and you want to give birth to, this is the most perfect card. And then I did not save it for last because I just realized you also have the Ace of Wands. Now these two together are very, very powerful because the Ace of Wands is about putting something into action. It's that very, very, very beginning of something, the idea, the inception of putting something into action. Maybe you're just getting married and thinking about beginning this family and home and all the rest of that jazz. Maybe you're saving up so you can get a lovely home for your family that you're going to begin embarking on and giving birth to, not only people, but a new way of thinking, a new way of creating things, a new environment for yourself and for these new people that you're going to bring into the world. Maybe it's you want to start a company that's different from other companies. You want to do something new and fresh, and maybe there's a product that you've thought of or invented that nobody seems to be doing or putting on the market, and you've come up with something to fill that void. So whatever it is, it's new, it's fresh, it's exciting. Whatever you're doing, I'm going to say it's all about new growth. That's the sensation I'm getting here. It's very positive, very, very positive. New growth, new investment, investment in things, investment in people. So I hope all of this beautiful reading comes true for you. I mean, I'm really feeling good about this. And don't forget, I am going to do that extended reading just in case you want to take a peek. So have a wonderful, beautiful month, and I hope to talk to you soon.